Hello guys, girls and everything else, I'm going to open video, and this time we got the Alkenstar agent dedication, or archetype, or however you want to call it. Yeah, it's an archetype, but you need a dedication to take it, just like any archetype, so yeah, archetype. And for any of you that want to say, "Hey, Cargo, I can't find it in Pathfinder, but I want to take it." Well, I believe that in Pathbuilder it is called City Agent Dedication, and you may think, wow, you're so smart. How did you find out? And yeah, I'm essentially just like a puff. Just I tried to find the archetype instead of just taking it, and I couldn't find it. So I just like scrolled through everything and just decided, oh, this one has the same proficiency requirements. So I'm going to check it out, and yeah, pretty much everything is the same, but just the names are changed to be copyright free. So yeah, this is just like city agent dedication. So you need to be trained in at least one firearm, so of course it will be great for gunslingers. And also trained in deception. So you have been initiated by the Grand Duchess of Alkenstar or one of her agents. So you put on a persona of a rough, fumble outlaw, but your great goals are to report threats to Alkenstar back to the Grand Duchess. I think that I'm pronouncing it right, but probably not, considering the fact that like my dyslexia is so hard. My dyslexia is so bad that I quite literally pronounced Phoebe right as Phoebe. Yes. And the first time I tried to like pronounce Nonat, I thought it was pronounced Nonate. Yeah. So yeah, if I just pronounce something wrong, just remember I have dyslexia. I don't have any control over it. You become expert in deception and trained in your choice of underworld lore or legal lore. Both of these are pretty great. If you were already trained, you become an expert instead, and you gain lie to me skill feat. And of course, you have the general archetype stuff. So, lie to me, here you have. You can use deception to just deceive. If you can engage in conversation with someone trying to lie to you, use your deception DC if it's higher than your perception DC. So yeah. Then you have loose cannon. Your unpredictable gunfire often catches enemies off guard and hits unprotected areas. Yeah, there's some areas that you should really protect. Make a ranged strike with a firearm against a creature that you haven't already attacked this turn. You gain circumstance bonus to the damage of the strike equal to the number of weapon damage dice. The strike gains following failure effect. The firearm misfires, but it doesn't cause other critical failure effects. The firearm misfires, also explodes, it becomes broken. Use normal weapon damage to all creatures in a 20-foot burst centered on the firearm with basic reflex save against your class DC. This damage includes any of the weapon's fundamental and property rules. Woof. But, and now plant evidence that is just ripped straight from Rogue. So yeah, you need to have pickpocket fit, and you can put a single item you're holding or of light or lower bulk into a person's into a per onto a person without them noticing by succeeding a fever check against their perception DC. If you have Ruffian Racket, you can also do this as a free actions when you successfully shove a target. Okay, and now quick draw. Oh yeah, rest is just like straight up ripped from Gunslinger and Rogue. I mean, rogues don't really have any good guns. So I don't recommend that with like a rogue specifically, because yeah, they don't have martial weapons except for like select few. So unless you just, for example, use like unconventional weaponry fit as a human to actually get access to like a firearm, or maybe some sort of like, I don't know, like dwarven weapon. Yeah, dwarven weapon familiarity. Yeah, dwarf stuff has like a bunch of firearms, so it would be also good if you take a dwarf or something like this with a rogue or human. Then also quick draw, which yeah, this is a different version with yeah. If you take an archetype, just for you to remember, this probably the original fit was probably level 2 or 1. Oh, level 1. And this one was probably level 2. Yeah, probably level 2. So, just a quick thing. If you want to make your own archetype and you want to steal an already existing fit, just make it 2 levels higher. Yeah, that's a great deal. That's why I kind of don't understand why currently multiclass multiclassing, like, you know, the advanced fury and stuff like this works, because it gives you like half your level, even though normally it would be a -2. But I understand that you do have more options, so I think that the best way to actually handle like multi-class dedication would be if Paizo changed it, so we have like so we have just like 4 levels lower rather than half level. Because you know, you still only can take this if you're at least level 6. So you would not miss out that much, you know? You need to already be level 6, so you would be just able to take level 2 fits at the very start. With normally you being able to, I think, take level like 2 fits already just at the start, only level 2 fits. So yeah, that's just like my little homebrew idea. And quick draw, yeah, you just like draw and hit with a weapon, which, you know, if you already have your weapon out, it's not really all that great. Just making sure that my audio is still being recorded. Proactive pursuit, so an adjacent foe moves away from you and you can reach at least one space adjacent to the foe with a stride action. You keep pace with the foe. You stride, but you must end your movement adjacent to the targeting triggering enemy. Your move does not trigger reactions from the triggering enemy. You can use any of your like normal speeds corresponding to the movement type. And running reload, yeah, you just use a move action and then reload. Prepare papers, which requires you to be master in society. Society is a pretty cool skill. So yeah, it just begs you to either take a gunslinger, or are too like already it just begs you to take a gunslinger or something, or a rogue, because it requires some skills. And flash your badge. So roll intimidation check to demoralize each creature within a 30-foot cone. When you do, demoralize gains a visual trait if the creature hasn't broken the law in past week. The result of your check against the creature is 1 degree of success worse than you rolled. Yeah. I don't know why is it just like within the past week, because there may be some sort of mafia boss that has been on the run for like 3 months or something, and then I think that it should still work normally, but that's just like a small change, because for most like criminals and stuff like this, it would work normally. It should work normally. However, I think that GMs should make exceptions to this rule. Exceptions to this rule if there's a criminal that made a serious enough crime. And Snapshot, which you learn how to react with ranged weapons in close quarters. You can use reaction that normally allows you to make a melee weapon strike instead of to instead make a ranged weapon strike. You must be striking adjacent to the target if necessary. The reaction is triggered. You treat ranged weapon as if it has range of 5 feet if the reaction has other requirements, such as wielding a specific kind of weapon. Snapshot does not allow you to ignore them. It allows you to only replace a melee weapon strike with a ranged weapon strike. Which, yeah, is pretty good. You can make an attack opportunity with a gun, but I don't think that enemy would attempt to run away from you if you already have a gun with you. But it would be good nonetheless if it actually happened, because attacks of opportunity and stuff like this just ignore your multiple attack penalty, as far as I recall. So just with Gunslinger especially, it gives you a really high chance to crit. And Gunslinger is pretty good because you get bonus to crit, and most ranged weapons, especially guns, just by themselves are not like really amazing weapons. However, if they crit, they deal so much damage if they crit. So that's why gunslingers are good at it, because it gives you like additional 2 chances to crit essentially, which may be like double the chance to crit or triple the chance to crit in many cases. And Snapshot, which you've learned how to... Oh yeah, it was already. And Instant Opening, the last one, which you distract the opponent with a rude gesture. Choose a target within 30 feet. It's flat-footed against your attacks until the end of the next turn. Depending on the way you describe your distraction, this action gains either auditory or visual trait, which it shows that with rude gesture. Oh yeah, this one is like 2 levels. So yeah, it should be like usually just 2 or 4 levels. So yeah, Instant Opening seems really good, especially since it costs 1 action and it doesn't have like any saves, so it's essentially just like you automatically which you automatically essentially make the enemy flat-footed, which works pretty much just like it works pretty much just like a critical success on a feint check. So that's very good. So yeah, just pick a gunslinger, really. Just pick a gunslinger, probably with charisma. So the best. I mean, you're welcome to do anything you want. For example, just like take the just an ancestry and stuff like this, and just scale this with your normal. But I think that the best one, if you want to like play into some sort of like what would be the best fitting for that, if you for example work sometimes like me, because I myself usually start with some sort of concept as a character and then try to execute it in Pathfinder. Or there's also another way which I go about things. Is when I don't have a concrete idea of what I want, I make a build that feels like it would be pretty good, and then based on the build, I actually make my character then by using the build. For example, if I made like the agent over here, but it's not just. It would be probably in another setting. It would be probably in another setting, so it's for example some sort of like, at least from I know, from what I can tell, in like every setting, if you try to appropriate for it for other settings, it would be an undercover police agent or something like this. So I would like think, why did this character become a policeman? For example, like a family member, to follow the family member's steps or something like this, you know. Or maybe this character lost someone close to him because of the police's negligence, and now the character feels like it needs to actually do a lot of like things himself to actually make the world adjust place. That's just out of the top of my head. Sorry for like poorly wording. Um, Sorry just like for my poor wording, because right now there's like I started talking, so now I have like a surge of ideas throughout my head, and I need to both focus on talking and try to comprehend these ideas, and that's kind of overloading my brain. So just this is just like some concepts that you could make. Just this doesn't need to be an uncle's Alkenstar, but in other settings this may be any like undercover police agent, which would be pretty cool. Especially it seems cool to me because even though Quinn, the investigator, like a Pathfinder iconic, is not like it's not like the Alkenstar agent or anything like this. He still gives me the same vibe, and I really like the character of Quinn. I rarely like lawful characters, but Quinn, the investigator. Yeah, the guy over here. This guy is great. Probably my favorite iconic so far out of all the iconics that I have read so far. And you know, I don't know like lore on every iconic, but so far I have read like the lore of Fambus, like Queen, the lore of like Droven, you know, Droven and Inventor, and a couple of more iconics. So right now I'm just through the process of actually reading these iconics. So you know, like I don't know, maybe there's some better character, even though I doubt. Um, but however, this is not about like talking about writing iconics or anything. This was supposed to be like a quick 15-minute thing about this archetype, and it got to 20 minutes. So yeah, just try to find your own path. Try to find your own path with freaks of nature. Of course, in a like loving, mocking way, not as an insult.